Hello，大家好啊！咁今日都好高興啦，可以即係邀請到大家都可以抽到個時間啦，去參加我哋嘅 Business English Interview Best Practice 一個嘅部分嘅。咁喺呢個部分之前啦，咁我哋都想教大家用一個 function 啦，咁就會係一個嘅部分嘅。係啦，咁因為咧陣間老師咧都會同我哋嘅學生啦上面嚟講一個嘅交流㗎，咁所以咧你都可以用一個 chatbot 嘅形式去做一個嘅部分，咁可以睇一睇呢個版面啦，就會有一個聊天啦，咁同埋咧你可以輸入一啲嘅信息去同我哋有一個交流，同我哋老師有一個嘅上堂嘅時候嗰個狀況，咁都可以有一個嘅
互動嘅。
OK，咁我哋自我介紹先啦。咁我哋係元朗分校嘅 consultant，咁我叫 Cyrus。
我係 Stephanie 啊。
咁都想喺交呢個時間啦，俾 Gabriel 之前咧，咁我哋都想有一個嘅介紹翻我哋 Watch List 先啦，咁樣嘅。OK，咁我哋 Watch List 上面嚟講咧有7間分校㗎，咁包括銅鑼灣、佐敦、荃灣、觀塘、沙田、元朗同埋將軍澳分校嘅。嗱，咁至於啦，我哋課堂上面嘅話咧，我哋都想即係利用一個嘅形式啦，一個 chatbot 嘅形式啦，咁考下大家一個嘅問題啦，咁就會係我哋個 course 有幾多個 type 咧？
俾提示大家，我哋有4種。
係啦。
哦，見到啲答案咯喎。
OK。
都見到係 IELTS 有人答。
都啱喎，係啦。
DSE。Very good。咁我哋開估啦。
OK， 好，咁我哋會有 General English 啦，有 IELTS 啦、DSE 同埋我哋今日嘅主題就係商業英語 Business English 嘅。OK。
咁我哋今日咧去到呢個 talk 咧會 focus 喺2個部分嘅，咁分別就係 effective verbal communication， 即係商業會話，同埋 effective presentation skills， 即係我哋嘅商業演講嘅。好，咁我哋嘅課程咧，其實我哋學校咧其實都係非常之着重同學仔嘅學習經驗啦，同埋支援學生，咁所以咧我哋希望有一個嚴謹嘅教學結構。配合咧由我哋商業教育經驗非常之經驗老道嘅老師去到教學，咁都想配合一啲咧權威嘅教學嘅教科書啦，market leader 去到教書嘅，咁希望可以體現得到咧我哋個小班教學啦，全英語環境。咁我哋亦都有另外一啲支援俾同學仔，我哋多元化嘅活動啦，同埋我哋都有一啲權威嘅認證，希望俾到更加有信心俾大家可以喺度讀書嘅。好啦，見唔見到呢個？
哇！咁
開心嘅係啲乜嘢嚟嘅咧？咁我哋都多謝你哋今日參與我哋個活動啦。咁所以我哋喺2月份咧有一個限定嘅學費減免俾大家嘅。咁如果今日咧你哋聽完呢一個課堂之後有興趣報讀我哋嘅課程嘅話咧，咁可以最後啦都問我哋資料啦，跟住問翻我哋元朗分校去攞資料啦。咁另外咧係今個月咧報讀啲指定課程啦，我哋會最多5000蚊嘅一個學費減免嘅。好啦，仲有記住要去到最後，要等到最後啦，因為咧我哋有個少少嘅 surprise 俾大家嘅。好啦，咁我哋今日嘅主題其實係講 interview 啦，不如我哋依家瞇埋眼去諗一諗我哋人生第一次做一個 job interview 嘅經歷係點樣樣。咁不如你講先啦 ，Cyrus， 你不如講下我哋呢一度啊，即係你喺 Wall Street English 呢一度工作咧，你嘅 interview 經驗係點？你幾耐之前啊？
哇，都5-6年前之前㗎啦。
咁耐你做咗？
係啦，你都係5-6年啦。
係，我都係5-6年前就已經係呢度 interview 咗。咁嗰陣時嘅經驗係點樣？
嗰陣時都記得都好緊張嘅，其實我先讀生，因為始終都係 fresh grad 啦，第一次去揾工作做啦，咁都好深刻印象就係聽到 HR 嘅電話之後叫我 interview， 咁我就即刻上網去 research， 原來一間 international school 同埋一間即係用英文嚟進行授課嘅學校嚟嘅，咁所以變相嚟講都覺得即刻睇下有啲咩嘅 skills 可以去學翻英文，去即係令到自己嗰個英文嘅水平加定可以喺 interview 嗰度用到出嚟咁樣㗎。
即係你係緊張做嗰啲
緊張啊，係啊。
OK， 咁可能係即係我又唔一樣咯 focus， 因為我係女仔啦，咁我着重係個儀容啊、着衫啊嗰啲嘢，因為我嗰陣時 fresh grad， 所以聽講 interview 係要着得好正式，即係着 suit 啊嗰啲咁樣，所以當時就着得好正式啦，跟住化好靚嘅妝啊咁樣去到 interview 嘅。咁我諗大家其實去到做一啲工作嘅 interview 嘅時候咧，都非常之緊張同埋擔心啦。咁所以我諗大家都好想聽到一啲技巧啦，或者一啲 可能 HR 嘅秘密，會留意啲乜嘢可以豐富到大家去做 interview 嘅。咁所以咧，好。咁所以我哋今日好開心啦，邀請到我哋學校 Business English 嘅導師同我哋 Training and Development Manager、Business English Manager Gabriel 咧去到教我哋今日嘅課堂嘅。咁咧轉頭 Gabriel 咧其實佢會有一啲互動俾大家去到做㗎。咁所以咧記住我哋依家開始咧講下英文，係啦，有 chat box 啦，我哋講下英文啦，咁啊 have fun 就 OK 啦。咁我哋 pass 個 stage 咧俾 Gabriel 啦。Hi Gabriel。
Hello. Hi everybody. Good evening, everyone. I understood have fun at the end of your sentence, and I love it. Yes, great way to start. I like my co-hosts introduced me. My name is Gabriel, everybody. I've been living and working in Hong Kong for the past 4 years, and I am super excited to be here tonight with you guys. First, because I think talking about best practices for interviews in general, is a really useful skill to everyone, and business English can also be really exciting in terms of it's a way or a style of language that can help us make good impressions and be professional and be confident. So hopefully we can discuss a lot of interesting tips to you all today that you will be able to use in your personal lives, in your professional lives, so that we can learn together. Okay, thank you very much for being here. Let's start our talk today with a warm-up discussion. So I have 5 questions that I would like all of the attendees here tonight to discuss, maybe in groups of 3 or 4. The first question is this: how long is an average interview? Perhaps in your experience, what was the average length? How can you make a good first impression? What would be your tips or your suggestions to make a good first impression in an interview? How much does the way people dress, the way you dress, affect your chances of getting the job? What do you think? Does your appearance count a lot? And is it a must to research about the company that you are applying for? How much research should you do? Finally, perhaps you could share with your group, how was your last job interview experience? Was it a positive experience? Was it a negative experience? Why or why not? Okay, so let's just start sharing some ideas together about these 5 questions. No problem. We can have some discussions together. And like our co-host said, you can also share some of your answers to the chat. Okay, perfect. I can see already Elvis here shared 1 hour. So can anyone speak with me? Whenever you want to share, you can unmute your microphone and then we can hear you. So how long is an average interview in your experience? I see 1 hour.
30 minutes.
10 minutes.
30.
30 minutes. Okay. Any other guesses? Everyone agrees?
Yeah, possibly for the interview, we will meet more than one person. So around 15 to 30 minutes per person, and then you will meet 2 or 3. So within 1.5 hours, it's quite long.
Oh, yes. I think this is a very good point. Sometimes we also have group interviews, right? So one-to-one interviews, they could range, yes, between 15 to 40. Okay, good. Now, anyone can give me any tips on the chat or also speaking about what can you do to make a good first impression? What would be your tips?
Be smart, relaxed, and energetic.
Very good. Be energetic, smile, relax. Very good. Anyone else would like to share as well?
Look professional.
Very good, Samson. Looking professional, do you mean in terms of your clothing?
Yeah, clothing, hairstyle, how we speak.
Very good. How we speak, right? Ginny, thank you, Ginny. She also mentioned eye contact. Very good. Making eye contact and the way we speak, it's very related with our non-verbal communication, which is also really important to make a good first impression in terms of showing your confidence and that you are relaxed, right? Very good. So I assume most of you answered for question 3 that the way you dress actually does affect a little bit. Yes or no?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Some jobs, some industries, they would require people to look more formal, right? So I think my friend here just talked about hairstyle. Definitely, if some jobs, some corporate jobs would require you to have a more neutral hairstyle, right? Maybe you shouldn't have like a colored hair. Whereas if you work as a designer or if you work in a co-working space, then the environment could be a bit more informal, more casual. So there isn't really a formula, but you need to always evaluate the context. Yes? Okay, what about number 4? Can someone share with me your thoughts? How much is it a must to do some research about the company? Must. Thank you, Ginny. Mandy as well, must, okay. Is an advantage, Elvis. Good, good, good. Anyone would like to speak with me here as well?
Yes, because you have to show you have prepared for this interview, so it would be good to have some understanding of the overall background for the company we are going to interview. And then, of course, also we share some, I think, more interesting for the for you, make you really stand out from the interview is you also know about the trend of the industry or what is the key factor within the area.
Perfect. Yes. Well done, Frankie. Very good. I think Steve is also saying here that it's a must. Of course, when we do doing research is a really positive thing. It can be a really good advantage to make you feel confident, right? To make you feel prepared to answer questions. But there's one thing that I always tell students and whoever is trying to practice or train for interviews, that more importantly than doing research for the company, you need to research your own background and your CV and to have a lot of clarity on how your experiences connect with the company, right? So doing research about the company is a must, yes, but very often candidates are unprepared to answer questions related to their own background. For example, what are the results that you have achieved? What was your last position about? What are your career aspirations moving forward? So doing research about your experiences, your background, and connecting that with the company is definitely a must. Okay, awesome. So let me share some important facts with you guys before we move forward. Usually the average interview time is 40 minutes. Yeah, so well done, all of you who answered, I think an average of 30 to 40 minutes. Yeah. And here's something really, really, really interesting and important for all of us to know. Research has been done and it shows that 33% of every 2,000 bosses, this is an estimation, right? They claim that they know within the first 90 seconds whether they will hire someone or not, right? A minute and a half. So within 1 minute and a half, they can already tell, I'm going to hire this person, or something's wrong, I probably won't. Of course, this is just an estimation, but can someone tell me, either on the chat or speaking here, why do you think that this happens? Why is it so quick? Do you think a minute and a half is enough for you to actually get to know someone? First impression, okay. Any other thoughts? Anyone would like to unmute and talk to me a bit?
I think it is possible because even though if within the first 1.5 minutes we don't have the very concrete idea for the personality or performance, but at least we can have the personal feeling, which is kind of true.
Okay, yes, a personal feeling, yeah, of course, the first impression. Anything else that you think happens within these first 90 seconds that is really crucial?
I think it's handshake as well. If you can prove that you are confident and it feel when you first contact with the interviewer, you can feel that.
Okay, thank you very much, Frankie. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. So let's keep this in mind, everybody, that a decision usually is made. Yes, 33% of bosses would make a decision within the first minute and a half. So let's take a look at these 3 points here, these 3 factors. The first one, what we actually say. The second one, the quality of our voice, grammar, and our overall confidence. And number 3, the way we act, the way we dress, the way we walk into the room, for example. From these 3 areas, 1, 2, and 3, which one do you guys think is the most important in a job interview? 1, 2, or 3? Perhaps you could share with me your thoughts on the chat. Or if you want to talk as well and tell me why. May just said 3. Okay. 3. Amy as well. 3. Oh, a bunch of 3s. 2, 3. Okay, a lot of 2s and 3s. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Can anyone try to explain to me, anyone who said 2, can anyone try to give us a reason using your beautiful English and your beautiful voices? Why do you think that 2 is important? Can anyone share? It's so important that you guys don't want to use your voices with me, huh? Yes. Frankie, were you going to say something?
Why the number 2 is quite important is I don't think that we have to speak 100% grammar, but when we speak in terms of voice or the work we use will show are we confident for ourselves, and then if we are confident for ourselves, it will also let a good impression for someone who going to work with me.
Okay, yes, I agree with you. I think you have a very strong point there. Everybody, well done. Okay, number 2 and 3 are actually quite interconnected. So here's something really important. Please pay a lot of attention to this. Official research in communication shows us that every communication relationship, every time we talk to someone or we get to know someone for the first time, that communication, more than 80% of that communication is all nonverbal. Okay, so when we think about the impact that nonverbal communication has is really high, right? So our body language, the way we act, our posture, our confidence, the way we walk, these are very important to establish a good communication between 2 parties. Yeah, if you actually think here, 7% of a communication process only is the actual words you use. Yeah. So now I have a quick question for you guys. Let's see if someone can take the challenge and tell me. Obviously, we are here talking about business English, the importance of having good English and perfecting your skills. But if spoken words are really only 7% of a good communication process, why do you need to speak English then? Why using words is important? Can anyone tell me why? If non-verbal communication counts so much more, then why should we care about our grammar and our vocabulary? Any brave participants to answer me?
Still counting 7%.
It's still there, right? You cannot ignore it. Okay. Any other thoughts? Agnes, Candy, Chloe. Elvis, would anyone like to share?
Because at least we need to communicate. We have to talk to each other.
Of course, yes. My friends, you know, in an interview, think about it. If you only spend 30 minutes with that person, of course, your nonverbal communication is really important, but it's not sustainable, right? First impressions change, and you could have an amazing you could make an amazing first impression by your body language and the way you dress. But imagine you are interviewing someone and they look very professional and they are very confident. And then when they start talking, their English is very broken, or they become very nervous because they make a mistake, or they use a word improperly. And then they are like, oh my God, right? So spoken words at a first impression in a communication process, they are very important to sustain long-term this relationship, right? That's why it's so important.
But I think the communication, the word you actually use for the preliminary communication is so limited. So you actually not use very much the what to talking about to express yourself, something like that.
A very good point. I think Holly, right? Holly Rain. Very good point. Thank you. And I think you just mentioned something which is exactly why we're here tonight. Because when we think about communication and a job interview, you don't have all the time in the world, right? To say everything you can say. So you need to be well-trained and you need to be prepared to use specific words and language that will actually get you the job. Okay, so this is why we're here today. We're going to focus now on these two main aspects: non-verbal communication and verbal communication. Okay, some of you already mentioned some things before about how can we make a good first impression, but please share with me now quickly, what do you think are some common mistakes that people should avoid making during interviews? Common mistakes that people could make for non-verbal communication in regards to your body language, the way you dress, non-verbal. What are some mistakes? Can anyone share with me? And please remember, if you are not talking, please mute your microphone so that we cannot hear you. Okay, anyone would like to share common mistakes? Okay, dress improperly. Oh, underdress or overdress yourself. Very good. Sorry, Frankie, we couldn't hear you properly.
Didn't make appropriate eye contact.
Oh, yes, not make eye contact. Okay, being late. Very good, Steve. Lack of punctuality could be. I'm not really sure if that is a non-verbal communication mistake, but definitely not good for an interview. Yeah. Anything else that you can think of? Okay, my friends, be ready. I'm going to show you now the 7 most common mistakes people make in interviews, and I will give you some tips on how to avoid them. Okay. First of all, failure to make eye contact. Thank you so much. Whoever said this, I think it was Frankie. Well done. When you go into an interview, in any conversation you have with a person in general, in your personal life, in your professional life, create the habit of always making eye contact. Okay, it shows that you are genuine. It helps to portray yourself as an honest, genuine, interested person. Okay, like you're interested in that communication, in that relationship. So this is something really important. Avoid looking down or looking up. Don't be afraid of establishing that connection. Okay. Second one, not smiling. I think Ginny or another lady said that before, being nervous. Yes. Here's the thing, everyone. Nowadays, with the new norm, a lot of us are also doing interviews and meetings with our masks on, right? It's obviously easier to smile if you can see my face like now, but remember that we also smile with our eyes, yes? And we smile with our tone of voice. So right now, even if you, let's do a quick test. Even if you don't see my face, you can tell that I am very happy when I'm talking to you, right? But if I just talk like this and my tone is very strong, then maybe you can tell that I'm not really smiling. So remember that the impression of someone smiling at you also comes from the tone of your voice, the speed that you talk, okay? Bad posture, yeah? Don't go to interviews like this or like this or this. Make sure that you are grounded, yes? Good posture, your chest is ready to project your voice, okay? Elvis, were you gonna say something? No? Okay, no problem. So be very careful with your posture, okay? I always tell this to our business English students here at Wall Street. When you are communicating, especially in front of others or in public, your voice needs to be projected outwards, okay? If you have bad posture, then with your neck or with your chest, your arms, then your voice is like this. It gets inwards, yeah? It doesn't come out properly as if you were confident and with good posture, okay? Fidgeting, making repeated moves, right? Either touching the table like this or moving your leg too much. Don't do it, okay? Ground yourselves. If you need to position your hands in your arms or at the table in a neutral position like this, to make sure that you show you are paying attention and you are confident in the communication taking place. Yes? Someone mentioned before about handshake, which could also be an effect of being nervous, like May just said. Of course, everybody, nowadays we are also not focusing too much on touching due to hygiene reasons. But remember that we can also use our body language to show a gesture of greeting. For example, when someone, if an interviewer invites you to come in the room, you could just say, oh, hello. My tip for students is always short movements and also controlled movements. There's no need to do this. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Oh, hello. I'm here. I'm Gabriel. I'm from here for the interview. There's no need. It's too much. So short movements and controlled movements. Slow. Oh, hello. Maybe a short bow with your head. Oh, hi. I'm Gabriel. Nice to meet you. Something controlled and short and quick. Okay? Wonderful. A student once told me that you could also elbow each other, right? But be careful. If the environment is formal, it's a risk to say, hello, interviewer, how are you? Yeah, avoid doing that if you can. Like I said, crossing arms or using too many hand gestures. Remember, always ground yourself, okay? Ground yourself with your body. Keep both feet on the floor, hands in a comfortable position. This shows seriousness and professionalism. All right? Amazing. Okay, so we now just talked about non-verbal communication tips, okay? Let's take a look at some language, all right? Some business vocabulary and some words that can help us when we are doing an interview. So I want to introduce to you now a technique called STAR technique, all right? Each one of these letters stands for a step that you should do whenever you are answering, that you should follow when you are answering questions. So the first one is situation, then task, action, and result. Okay, so as you can see there, STAR. The main idea of this in simple terms is cannot hear me, Can everyone else hear me?
Yes, all good. All good.
Yes, all good. Yes, I'm not sure why you cannot hear. Perhaps someone can help you in the chat.
Yes.
Message. Thank you. Okay, so whenever you are answering a question during an interview, you should always try to frame that question in what was the situation, what was the scenario, what was happening with you at that time. Perhaps what was your role, and then you would focus on the task to be specific, right? So this was the situation. I was training and development manager at Wall Street English Hong Kong, and I had the task of delivering a business English online talk for a group of students. In order to deliver that talk successfully, I prepared my materials and I did a lot of research to present to my audience some really interesting and useful tips. This would be my action points, yeah, what I did. Finally, hopefully, all the students enjoyed the talk very much. They learned some interesting tips and they were very confident to do their next job interview. That was the result that you could share, okay? So this is just an example I used now personally to show you how we would place this, but I want us to examine and to study a little bit another example that I have, another case, okay? Let me just make a quick pause here and say one thing. It's every time when we do workshops for business English and our regular classes, I always tell my students, whenever you are reading, take the opportunity to practice your pronunciation, okay? And project your voice and be confident. So I want to see who is brave enough in this group to help me now reading some short paragraphs. Ginny?
Yeah, I can.
You can? Okay. Yes, perhaps you can help us. So Ginny, can you read this first one, please?
Yes. Situation in my previous role, I was assigned to lead 5 team members to launch a new product that was not well known in our beauty industry.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Ginny. Anyone else for the second one? Volunteers?
Launch these products required a very detailed plan involving design, marketing strategies, budgeting, cost and profits, markings, forecasting, logistic needs, and through study of our target customers.
Very good. Thank you, Holy. A thorough study of our target customers. Well done. Okay, one more person.
As the leader of the project, I have several plan meetings with the whole group and also individually to make sure that all of their ideas were heard and acknowledged. Decisions were made swiftly with the main people involved and always communicate to the entire team step by step.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Elvis. Very good. Okay, and finally, everyone, the result at the end, the product was launched successfully and it was very well received in the market, surpassing our sales forecast by 340%. Okay, so here is a clear example of a preparation that you could do before you attend your interview. Okay, so you would study your previous positions, your previous experiences, and of course you don't need to write it down as create a whole text for every possible question they could ask you, but reflecting about this is something really important. And of course you could train some verbs and some adjectives that you could use to show that not only you achieved great things in your experiences, but you are able to talk about them with confidence, with refined vocabulary. Okay, so let's think about this now. Let's focus on vocabulary, on wordings. Can you tell me now, for each of these paragraphs, what are some verbs that really mark this criteria? For example, in the first one, the situation part, when you think of this verb here, I was assigned to lead. Yes, this is a very good verb here. When something is assigned to you, it means you are put into that position, right? Which is the situation. So this is a trick. Whenever you have to talk about a situation or a context, you could say that I was assigned to do something, or I found myself in the position of doing something, or I find myself responsible for something. These are all very good verbs. Now, take a look here for task, action, and result. Can you tell me some other verbs that are marks of these topics? You can tell me in the chat, or you could reply to me. Launching. Okay, good. Yeah, this could be. Launching was the task. Yeah. Okay. Any other? Anyone would like to share? Involving. Okay. Any other? Okay, my friends, let me show you some verbs for you to pay attention to here, okay? Hopefully you'll notice afterwards. So take a look. These verbs in red are all verbs that would make the topic you are talking about a lot stronger. So I was assigned to lead. The task or the project that I was assigned to required, and then several things, yeah? Required a detailed plan, required a lot of strategies, budgeting costs, a thorough study, yeah? When you think about action, when you are trying to tell others what you did, you would use these action verbs, right? I had to do this. I made sure that this happened. I communicated with people clearly. So all the verbs you can see here, they are action verbs. Okay, very important as well to sustain what you are trying to tell, the story you're trying to tell. And finally, when we think about result, look at these two verbs. Launched, it's the idea of something starting, yeah? A product was launched, perfect. And surpassing, very good verb by itself, because the meaning is the result was way beyond what was expected, yeah? Not only it's important for us to know the verbs that we're using, but also the adjectives that we could use to flourish and refine our language a little bit more. Yeah. So let me show you now some other adjectives that could help us to refine our language. For example, well-known, a detailed plan, a thorough study. Yes. All of their ideas were acknowledged. And we made decisions swiftly. Yeah, swiftly here is an adverb to say that the decisions weren't slow. Yeah, they were very efficient. The product was well received. So you see, small details like this, when you are in that interview, if you prepared and you researched and you used the fundamentals of business English to get ready, you will be able to say this and answer your questions with confidence, with good control of your nonverbal communication, but also with good control of your verbal communication. Okay? So this is just a sample of something you could do. And I hope you enjoyed to know more about this technique. So here's my final challenge that I have for you all before I say goodbye and pass my time to Cyrus and Stephanie. These are 4 questions that are very commonly asked during interviews, okay? Please tell me, when have you completed a difficult task under pressure? Please describe a time when you delivered brilliant customer service, when you have successfully completed a task or a project, or when you have taken responsibility for completing a task that would impact other people or your team, yeah? So here's my challenge for you. If you enjoyed your time today and you are interested in taking the next step and getting ahead of others to make a good first impression and improve your language skills, your English skills. This is the challenge that I have for you. You can choose one of these questions. We can send these to you later on. We can choose one of these questions and then create an answer, a written answer, a short answer like this, maybe 3-4 paragraphs max, describing the situation, the task, the action, and the result, okay? In your personal experience that you would like to share. You can send this to my email with some of your details, and then I can give you some feedback on that, okay? Should be very quick, a short paragraph just following the STAR technique, all right? Maybe I can give you some tips on wordings you can use and all of that. So I think this is it for my time today, everyone. Thank you so much. If we have a few more minutes at the end, perhaps we could open for questions. Don't worry, I can send you these 4 questions and these details later on. We can share these materials with you all. So thank you very much for sharing with me, listening to me, and please have Cyrus and Stephanie back with you guys now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, thank you so much and see you. Goodbye.
Esther, Cyrus,
Yeah.
and Stephanie, are you guys ready?
多謝 Gabriel 同我哋嘅分享 ，Thanks Gabriel, it's
Thank you.
perfect 我諗我大家都學咗好多嘢，因為今日我諗真係第一次聽到，哇！原來 HR 係真會睇 body language 啊，原來真係會睇你着得 O 唔 OK 啊，同埋我諗喺 language 上面都好重要啦。原來我諗我哋用一個轉一個字，可能已經可以扭轉我哋成個 interview 嘅局面。咁都大家應該都學咗好多嘢啦，係咪啊 ，Cyrus？
都係啊，咁都想即係到最後啦，咁都想即係去講一講翻我哋課程嘅 outline 啦，去睇一睇翻其實究竟我哋嗰個嘅課堂嗰個嘅即係嗰個嘅模式其實係點樣嘅。OK， 好，咁咧主要嚟講啦，我哋分咗5個嘅單元㗎，咁我哋都咗講下啦。咁第一個單元咧，其實就係我哋嘅商業詞彙啦、文化同埋應用啦，第2個就係商業寫作啦，第3個就係商業嘅會話，第4個咧就係我哋商業報告同埋我哋嘅演講咁樣嘅，而第5個最後啦就係管理級溝通嘅技巧嘅，係啦。咁呢5個嘅部分上面嚟講咧，咁我哋基本上就講咗其中嗰2個啦。咁我哋主要嚟講 total 我哋會有5個嘅 module 嘅，咁我哋 overall 啦最多我哋會有100個小時嘅，總共嚟講我哋都會有，係啦。咁至於課堂嘅特色啦，其實我哋都會着重於 face to face 嘅課堂同我哋嘅外籍老師，咁即係 Gabriel 老師啦。咁當然啦，因為而家我哋疫症嘅影響啦，咁所以我哋都會用咗 online 嘅形式去進行嘅，咁所以變相嚟講咧，都會更加方便一啲嘅到我哋嘅學生。咁第2樣嘢啦，咁我哋都會有一個叫做網上嘅平台 My English Lab。咁 for example， 如果有一啲嘅即係可能功課上邊啦，又或者可能寫作上邊啦，其實都可以俾到我哋嘅老師幫你去批改，然之後俾翻個 feedback 俾翻你哋嘅 ，OK？ 仲有啦，我哋都會有一個叫做權威嘅教材啦，咁我哋稱之為market leader 嘅，係啦，咁我哋都會有兩個 textbook 嘅。最後啦，咁我哋都會有個 social club 啦，可以俾到我哋學生啦，有多啲嘅機會可以令到你哋可以講到英文同相同程度嘅同學仔一齊嘅。
咁 Cyrus 講咗我哋有5個嘅教學單元啦，咁我哋有一個咁嚴謹嘅教學結構嘅原因就係因為我哋希望俾到你哋所有嘅同學仔每一堂每一個單元都好清楚自己究竟學到啲乜嘢啦，有啲乜嘢可以即刻袋落袋，聽日就可以即刻用喺你嘅職場上面㗎啦。咁所以呢度咧好清楚，大家可以睇到我哋每一個單元咧，究竟你會學到啲乜嘢嘅。咁我哋嘅 Business English 嘅課程咧，我哋由40個鐘去到100個鐘都有嘅，我哋就可以配合到唔同同學仔嘅需要啦。所以咧，如果大家都有興趣嘅話咧，記住都要咧去翻分校嗰邊，我哋會同你首先做一個英文嘅評估，睇下你嘅需要，睇下你個目標，然後我哋幫你訂立咧個人化嘅學習計劃嘅。如果咧大家有一啲時間啊或者地點嘅特別需要咧，咁我哋另外都會有一個 VIP course， 咁顧名思義咧就係一個1對1嘅 Business English 班嘅。 咁最後啦，我諗大家去學一樣嘢啊，去到譬如一個語言啊，一個課程嘅時候，其實最緊張、最擔心嘅嘢就係，究竟我今堂學完嘅嘢，其實我學唔學得到啦？老師俾咩評語我啦？我究竟點樣可以運用得好啲啦？咁所以咧，老師都喺堂上邊咧，其實俾一個好詳盡嘅學習報告俾你哋。咁呢個學習報告咧，好多嘢睇嘅，你就可以睇到自己今堂學咗乜嘢啦，咁究竟運唔運用得到咧，或者比較個人化嘅一個進度啊，一個進步嘅空間咁樣嘅。
咦，係喎，啱咧講到咧就係一開始嘅時候啦，都會有一個 surprise，咁究竟嗰個 surprise 係啲咩嚟㗎 ，Stephanie？
係好想知啊，你哋好。咁其實係呢個啦，咁我諗我哋今次呢一個 talk 咧，其實同學仔都好想即刻咧運用頭先 Gabriel 教我哋嘅一啲 skills 啦，一啲無論係 language 啦，又或者可能有啲 interview 嘅技巧，即刻可以運用得到喺你嘅 interview 上邊，或者咧喺你嘅presentation 上邊嘅。咁所以咧，我哋今次參加呢一個 talk 嘅同學仔咧，都可以獲得有一次免費嘅模擬面試啦，或者一個英文評估。咁咧，依家就要即刻
係 now 留言 free mock 咁就會有㗎啦。
係啦，咁你就打返 free mock。咁就可以留個位，可以參加我哋一個免費嘅模擬。我見到哇，好多人喎 ，Frankie 啊、Mandy 啊、Candy
啊都會有喎。
Steve 啊、Jenny 啊，佢哋全部都想要，好 very good。咁我哋咧就會有導師啦，去到聯絡翻你咧去分享啦，去做評估或者網上嘅一個評估㗎啦。咁去到呢一度啦，咁我哋差唔多尾聲。不過大家有冇啲問題想問我哋咧？你可以開咪問我哋，
同我哋講一講都可以嘅，
或者 chat box 都得。有冇嘢想問咧？關於課程嘅，咁有人想問幾時？亦係咪想問咧？嗰個 job interview，即係 mock interview 幾時啊？如果係嘅話咧，其實呢一個隨時都可以。我哋學校咧其實係1至日都會開嘅。我哋平日咧仲要係夜晚9點先至放學。咁所以咧，我哋遲啲我哋會有工作人員去到聯絡你哋嘅時候咧，會幫你哋去到安排個時間㗎啦。咁我哋無論係面對面啦，或者我哋網上邊都可以做到嘅。
仲有冇其他資料想問多啲？
咁頭先我哋講Cyrus老師講得好詳盡，關於我哋英文課程啦。咁我哋除咗 Business English 啦，我哋仲有 General English 啊、IELTS 啊、DSE 啊呢一啲嘅課程咧。咁如果有興趣嘅咧，都可以喺 chat box 啦，或者可能咧聯絡翻我哋分校。譬如我哋元朗分校嘅，咁你就可以打翻我哋元朗分校嘅電話，揾 Cyrus 或者揾我都 OK 啦。
同埋咧，你啱講話都會有其他嘅 talk 咁樣，其實我哋都可以幫你安排啦。我哋都會喺21號嘅7點鐘，咁我哋都會有關一個移民嘅生活嘅 talk 嘅，咁我哋都可以去幫你哋安排啦。如果有興趣，都可以喺呢個 chat box 嗰度同我哋去講翻，去留翻言，咁我哋都可以幫你做一個 register 都可以嘅。
Sorry， 想問咧，嗰啲 module 咧係咪無論係40鐘又好、60鐘又好、100鐘都好，都一定要 take 晒5個㗎？可唔可以淨係揀？例如好似我想 improve 嗰啲 writing skill 嘅，咁我淨係 take 嗰個 module 2，有冇呢個 option 嘅？
因為我哋個課程咧其實都好個人化，咁所以咧我哋喺做評估嘅時候咧都會根據翻你嘅需要，譬如我話我覺得我 writing 嗰度好啲，或者可能我需要 presentation 嘅，咁我哋會按照翻你嘅狀況咧睇下邊啲適合你嘅。咁當然啦，其實我諗一個 business English 咧最緊要係一個整體嚟嘅，係啊，咁所以我哋呢個分嗰個時數咧我哋可能去翻嗰個 slide 啦，都可以俾你睇多少少嘅。我哋嗰度咧，其實都會有話俾你知，你喺40個鐘、60個鐘、100個鐘，其實你學到嘅嘢喺邊度嘅。咁我哋就冇話可能特別你淨係學啲乜嘢，因為我哋都想你一個 as a whole， 即係全部嘅 skills 你都有。咁所以咧，當然啦，可能你揀唔同嘅時數，可能學嘅重點會有啲唔同咁樣。咁對詳情嘅話咧，咁我哋就可以做完評估，睇下你嘅需要係啲乜嘢啦。頭先係咪 Frankie 啊？係啊 ，Frankie 係啊，好啊，咁係啊，你好，咁我哋就睇下需唔需要可能之後再 send 啲資料俾你啊。多謝你嘅提問啊。
好，有冇其他都想有個提問等等？
係啊，我想問咧，我想留個嗰個 free mock 同埋21號咧，但係我應該點樣留啊？因為我唔識點樣用喺呢度。
好啊，你叫咩名啊？
我哋幫你 mark 翻低。
Esther 係 Esther。
好啊 ，Esther 你好啊，咁我哋轉頭咧就會叫同事啦聯絡翻你嘅。你係想參加 free mock 啦，同埋下次我哋21號嗰個 talk 係咪啊？
係。
冇問題啊。
我哋幫你 mark 翻低先，係啦。
多謝 ，thanks so much。
Thank you so much。好，咁我哋應該都差唔多啦。係啊，咁我哋非常之開心，今日有咁多同學仔可以同我哋參與，同埋都大家好踴躍。頭先我見到大家都好踴躍去到答問題啊，Gabriel 都應該搞得好開心，你哋又學得好開心啊。咁所以今次多謝你哋參與啦，同埋 Thanks Gabriel for teaching。Thank
you. I don't know if anyone, I don't know, I'm here for a few minutes. If anyone has a question about business English, please let me know on the chat. I can stay here a bit longer to reply if anyone has anything to ask. If not, it was a pleasure.
OK， 好 ，Thank you。咁我哋 say 個拜拜啦，我哋下次再見。
拜拜 ，See you Gabriel，See you，and Stephanie，yeah，goodbye。